like what you're seeing here, subscribe to this channel for more. What up guys, this is Monkey Figure Reviews, and today, finally, we are going to unbox the Ichiban Kuji Better Memories Prize A Monkey D. Luffy Gear 4 SNAKEMAN by Bandai Spirits. So I think most of you should know by now that it is very difficult to get this figure, and if you do manage to find it, there's a high chance that the price will be pretty expensive, pretty insane. And from what I know, that's because there's no overseas release, so most of the SNAKEMAN will be coming from the Ichiban Kuji lottery and probably people who won them and selling them in the market. So very difficult to get it. Here in Singapore, the prices are also pretty crazy, about 100 plus SGD, and it does seem like it's probably dropping a little bit, but it's still pretty expensive in my opinion for a figure that's not very big, you know, about this size. So we will see how it looks like later, but before we get there, let's take a quick look at the box. So right in front you can see what we are going to get: a very vicious looking SNAKEMAN with very good looking steam effects, and of course you can see the series name, the price A very big over there, the letter A, Bandai Spirits logo, and the background design is kind of like a black and white splash paint. Not sure what you call that, but it looks pretty cool, kind of matches well with the SNAKEMAN. And this is a side view, more close-up version of the figure, of the face especially. Let's look at the other side, a different angle of the figure, and at the back you can see rather a full image of the figure and certain different shots of him as well. So it says that it's 15 cm, but I think it's a bit taller, 21.5 cm from the bottom to the top. So 15 cm is just the body height, so you can tell actually he's not that big at all. And at the top, alright, we have a white Toei sticker here to prove its authenticity. So this thing is brand new and sealed, as you can see, and I'm gonna do the unboxing with you guys. Alright, let's go. There you go guys, Ichiban Kuji SNAKEMAN in all of his glory. He looks really badass, really cool. And I kind of understand now when people said that he looked much more impressive in real life when compared to, you know, watching him through a video or looking at him through a picture. Seeing him with my own two eyes, he's just really cool. That's all I can say, and definitely I would say match my expectations at the very least. And also I'm not sure if you guys noticed when I took the figure out of the box, which I hate because Ichiban Kuji boxes are unnecessarily complicated, but they gave him those plastic sleeves around the arms and also around the hair, so that I guess during transportation or whatnot, the black paint from those areas do not rub onto the white smoke. So that's definitely well appreciated. Thank you Bandai Spirits for taking extra care. Alright, let's take a closer look at the figure now. We will start off with the head sculpt first, maybe the face. And in terms of facial likeness, at least off the top of my head, I would say that he is very accurate and true to the source material. Looks pretty much like SNAKEMAN Luffy in the manga. So I think that is very well done. This is very different from when I first saw POP SNAKEMAN, because when I first saw that face, it doesn't look like Luffy at all. So in this case, it doesn't give me that perspective, which is very good. I think it is well done when it comes to likeness. Other than that, of course, when you look at the details on the face, you can see there's some veins popping up on the forehead, of course, with some shading too. I think that's to make him look more angry, and also to add a little bit more 3D shape. The eyes are well done, the scar, the mouth as well. Maybe the mouth a little bit more careful with the lines. You can see it's not really painted accurately on the camera. In real life you can't actually tell, but I think in the camera you can see it much more clearly. And the ears all pretty sculpted nicely. I have to mention something is that this figure, from what I've seen, has pretty big QC issues. So in certain cases from the videos and photos I've seen, the shading at the top, you know, mine has a kind of like a V shape that follows the veins, but I've seen cases where it's just a blob of, you know, shading all the way top to the forehead, and it is very weird looking and not good at all. Another problem is the issue with the eyeshadows around the eyes. I think that's what you call them, right? The eyeshadows. And the inconsistency is that sometimes the right eye has a thicker eyeshadow and sometimes the left eye has the thicker dark shadow. When you look at it, you kind of have uneven eye sizes for those situations, and honestly it's very horrible. And I am very glad, very happy that it seems like mine, there's no issues at all. He looks to be honestly pretty good. But you have to be very careful because from what I've seen, it's quite common, and this is something that you might want to consider when you're trying your luck to get this figure. This is the hair, and hopefully you can see from the camera, you can see how amazing and detailed it is. So each cluster, you know, they are kind of alive. They are all facing different directions, and within each cluster you get all these kind of strands just carved into it, and I think that is really well done when it comes to details. And probably you can see for yourself how amazing it is. Let me just try to show you guys a top-down view. There you go. So even when it comes to finishing wise, it's very good. No weird, you know, rough edges, no weird seam lines from what I can tell, and just fantastic. We will continue with the body first before we go into the smoke effects. And just looking at this, man, come on guys, it's just insane. The details, it looks so good on the scar, on top of the muscles. And we know that this figure essentially is going for the hyper-realism style. So even when, you know, when you look at the scar, the texturing, you can actually feel them. You know, the unevenness and the randomness of it. It is very realistic, and probably how a scar will look like, a huge scar in real life. So you can really feel them. And I'm not sure if there's shading, but I think it's just the natural, you know, shadows thrown onto the figure from the texture and the shape of the figure. And of course the muscles are very well defined. This is like a what, 8-pack, 10-pack? He looks absolutely ripped, and just so much details on the scar itself. I am very impressed. And that also translates to the pants. As you can see, we have a nice little gold button over there, but the details on the pants as well, you know, the texture, the lines, the striations, the creases, all very well done. Similar for the muscles on the legs, so you can see the muscle definition, the calf, and whatever else you call the rest of the muscles. I have no idea. And man, you can see for yourself the details and style is absolutely amazing. I think this is the same sculptor for the gear for Boundman Ichiban Kuji that we have reviewed previously. So it looks like the same artist, same style. And I'm not sure if you can tell on the camera, but the paint kind of goes from black to maroon, which is how they paint the haki on the bodies nowadays. There's a bit of mixture at the top, you know, but so some parts get kind of totally black, some parts get maroon, but you get the idea. Let's see if you can see the toes. There you go. So even though you know, it's painted in black in haki, you can see the details on the toenails as well as the individual toes. And I just want to show you guys quickly the butt area, the details on the pants too. It's a little bit difficult to get a direct look because of the smoke effect in the way, but you can just see the details for yourself. Absolutely stunning and amazing. And just show you guys the back since we are here. The muscles here look amazing and crazy too. Look at that. Look at that, man. And I don't know, man, like this part of the spine area, this whatever this is, just astounding. And I think over here maybe they added a little bit shading. I don't think this part is it is natural lighting, so they added a little bit shading here and maybe in some certain areas to just emphasize the muscle definition and sculpt. Really beautiful. And on top of that, let me move my camera, sorry guys, and you can see how tight that shirt is, because Luffy actually expands and grows a lot bigger when in SNAKEMAN. I've seen some people say that he is around the same size as the Boundman, but so far I can't confirm, but you can tell he's just at least I think twice the size with how tight the shirt is. And the creases are also very well done. I apologize that you can't really, okay, maybe this angle is better to see the way it is done. And of course another thing I like is the hat. And for the hat on this figure, he's actually very small when compared to the whole full body size. And that's also another detail that shows that he has gotten a lot bigger in this form. Whereas Maximum SNAKEMAN hat is still pretty big, so you can't, it's not accurate I would say, and you can't really tell. But over here it's just very well done, and you can even see the hat is kind of like better damage. Same for the shirts with those lines on it. Perfect, absolutely amazing. And of course the straw hat is tucked beneath the mafia hat. And for the arms, lastly, the usual haki kind of design on the top of the arms, and it goes all the way. So you can see here's a little bit more maroon, some parts over here too, but generally it's just black and maroon in color. And for the other arm as well, fantastic. Even like the paints here for the haki, it looks very clean and crisp. Finally, the smoke effects, but I'm not sure where to start. I think in terms of details, it's pretty much the same story throughout. So they look like marshmallow clouds, and you have those shading in certain areas to give it more shape, and also I guess to make it less boring. So it's pretty much the same. But one thing I want to highlight is that similar to the POP SNAKEMAN, the smoke effect is actually made of separate pieces, and you can see them over here, the seam line, and I think over here as well, and I think in certain areas as here as well. But I think they have done a good job in trying to conceal them as much as possible, so it is actually not very obvious unless you look for it. Maybe over here, and certain parts at the top here too. And I think the way they've done it is that they try to hide it in areas around the curvatures of the smoke, which is really well done. And certain pieces, I think like for here at least, it looks like they have glued it together and tried to sand it or something, or put another layer of some stuff on it to hide it better. But in general, this is well done because they don't steal attention, unnecessary attention away from the masterpiece of the figure itself. And this is the front of the smoke. So naturally, I think it looks very good looking, and of course it also serves as the base for the figure, which I much prefer than ugly or weird looking supporting base or stand. So yeah, I think you could just see for yourself how it's done. Just really amazing all in all. The height of this figure from the bottom to the top, they said it's 21 cm, but it's actually a little bit taller. It's around 22.5 cm, so somewhere in between 8 3/4 inches and 9 inches. First figure I'm bringing is the POP Maximum SNAKEMAN Luffy. So you guys can do a little bit of height comparison between the two. And I think they actually look really cute and funny here. It looks like they are siblings, and this is the bigger brother and this is the younger brother, and they're kind of like staring at each other sideways, pointing their arms, kind of, you know, getting into a sibling fight. And I think that even though they are different styles, different sizes, these two of them, two SNAKEMANs, look great as a display piece like that. And I'll probably do a separate video where I compare the two figures part by part, area by area, and you can really see which one I like better in my opinion. But for now, I guess this gives you a good look on how these two compares. The other figure I want to bring in is the Ichiban Kuji Kongan Boundman. So you can see how they look like when displayed next to each other. I think they look great as a pair. Looks fantastic because they are from the same sculptor, so the style is the same. And even for, you know, the smoke, it looks pretty much the same. Maybe the one here is a little bit more bluish and darker, but overall it still matches really well. Scale wise, I am not certain because I don't think as of now we actually have details of how big SNAKEMAN is, how big Boundman is. I only know that like Boundman is around the height of Doflamingo, but SNAKEMAN, since we have only seen him use it against Karakuri, and of course the angles, the scenes, is a bit hard to gauge. But from here you can tell that the legs of SNAKEMAN is a lot bigger than Boundman. Could be just the form, but at the back you can see that the head is a lot bigger here than here. So does that mean that actually SNAKEMAN is like a lot bigger than we thought he is? I don't know, man. But as of now, I think if you're trying to scale them as accurately as possible to the, you know, the size in the manga or the anime, I think it'll be quite difficult. But if any one of you know like the height anywhere, please post them in the comment section below, and we can have a look at it and discuss how we should scale the Gear 4 forms. Alright guys, that's pretty much all I have to say for this Ichiban Kuji SNAKEMAN figure. In conclusion, I think that he is an absolute masterpiece, a work of art, and it is around the same level as the Kongan Ichiban Kuji, which to me is one of my favorite figures of all time. So the quality level is pretty much there. It is very high. If I were to have a little complaint, I would say that this figure can be a little angle specific. So what I mean is that if you look at him from here, it looks fine, he looks great. But once you start turning him towards this other direction, his face starts looking a little bit weird, in part due to the shape of the mouth. I think that is not very well done, so it is not very flattering for him here. Maybe all the way until here. So if you're displaying him from the front, I think it is fine. But if you're putting him on like a 360 turntable, then you will catch the unflattering angle. Another thing which I must once again say again and remind, I feel that it's my obligation to, is that through my research of looking at videos and pictures, I've noticed QC issues around the eyes. And to me, the face of a figure is very important because it captures the character, the identity. So if it doesn't do well on that part, it misses the whole point. And you just have to be very careful, okay? Like I said, some of them, the eyeshadows are thicker on one side, or even worse, thicker on both sides, so it just doesn't look like Luffy at all. So it can be a little bit iffy, and you have to be careful. Not that you can actually do anything about it, but I mean, of course, unless you're buying a second hand. But I'll pray for you, man, and I hope that you pray for yourself that you get a good SNAKEMAN figure without the face that is messed up. Okay. Lastly, I want to talk about the price of this figure. Is it worth it to get? Because from what I know, it is still very expensive out there. So, in my opinion, I think if you can find it for around, you know, 90 to 100 Singapore dollars and below, just convert that to your own currencies. I think it is fine. You can go for it. But if you're looking at, I don't know, man, like 130, 150, 200 plus 200 maybe with shipping whatsoever, because the box is huge, man. If you're buying from overseas, I think shipping will be quite a bomb, especially now during this period. I think it is so expensive, give it a miss, because we have precedents that they might do a re-release down the year, sorry. For example, the Konga and the Boundman, they have done maybe 2 times already, or 3, or is it 3 times? I can't remember. So there's no, if you have no absolute need to get this figure, like now, you had to get it now, immediately, I think you can just wait it out. Maybe the price will even drop, but yeah, I think just wait for a re-release. I think honestly it will come, because it is so popular, and this time around they didn't do any overseas release, so definitely an option for them to milk more money in the future. Remember, they're a company. If they know that a figure sells, they will definitely sell it. Alright, that's pretty much all I have to say for this figure, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you liked the video, do give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you guys for listening in. Goodbye.